It's election day here in Oregon, and I'm going to clear up a few things about mail-in voting. Hi, thanks for watching. I know it's been a while. Things are crazy, right? Things are crazy. I've been busy doing lots of things, and I hope to tell you about them soon, but I'm not quite ready for that. But today is election day here in Oregon. It is the Democratic presidential primary. I wonder who's going to win that. And our ballots are due. Now, one thing that is unique in Oregon, as opposed to much of the country, is that Oregon is totally vote by mail. And so I have my ballot here. I'm going to fill it out now. And the thing is, Oregon has been doing this for over 20 years. We've had exclusively vote by mail. And there are a lot of criticisms about vote by mail, and I'm going to talk about those here in just a minute. But first, I just want to show you what we do here in Oregon. So I've got my official election mail on the back. It says official election ballot. Vote and return promptly. Well, I did not return it promptly, so I'm actually going to have to take it over and drop it off. It's too late for me to put it in the mail. They have a drop-off box. By me, it's at my library, my local library. It's not that far, so it's no big deal. But so here we've got some information in all the different languages, which I guess is good. We've got our security sleeve, and it shows us how to fill it out. And if we make a mistake, what can we do to ensure that we can correct it? Instructions on the last day to mail it and the last day to drop it off. I have to take it to an official drop-off site in Oregon by 8 p.m. today. And I'm recording this at 4 o'clock. So I've only got a few hours. But they also have a thing that you can track your ballot, because all of these, it's all computerized. And so I can track my ballot to find out exactly when it is counted, which is kind of interesting. So let's look at this. Now, one thing that they have done recently with this election, which is new, is there's no longer postage required to send in your ballot. In the past, you had to put a stamp, but they have changed that, and I'm going to explain the reasons why. Now, I don't think I'm going to make you sit through me filling this out. Let's see. Let's look at what we have here. Like U.S. Senator, I have one choice because this is the primary, so I can choose Jeff Merkley or no one else, as I'm a registered Democrat, probably for the last time. But I'll just fill out Jeff there. So U.S. Representative, 3rd District, I vote for 1. State offices, we've got the Secretary of State. The Treasury, there's no one there. Attorney General, we've got 1 choice. State Rep, we've got 1 choice. This is interesting. For President, we only have 4 choices on the Democratic ballot here in Oregon. We've got Joseph R. Biden. No. We got Bernie Sanders. I've given up on him. Elizabeth Warren, not going to happen. And then we got Tulsi Gabbard. And while she is officially out of the race, I still want to let everyone know that that's who I supported in this from the get-go. But in all the other races that we have, it's really sad. The only choice I get, it looks like, is one of the district courts. So this is going to take me a couple minutes. I'm just going to pause this video, fill this out real quick, and then I will explain the criticisms for vote by mail and tell you why, for the most part, those concerns are nonsense. Okay, that was easy enough. I've finished this. Now I seal the envelope. Perhaps I shouldn't have licked it due to current circumstances. Anyway, and it requires a signature. Now, this signature is checked against my signature that the state has on file. They have it with the DMV. So when I sign this, they can double check to make sure that the person signing it is the person that it matches up with the person that delivers it. So I've got this all done. I'm going to run that over really quick to the ballot drop-off. So here we are, 90 minutes to go. I'm going to drop it off. And that's it. We just voted. But I want to address some of the issues, some of the criticisms of vote by mail, because some are legitimate and some are absolutely BS, okay? The first one that I want to talk about that I will agree with some critics is about ballot harvesting. Now, ballot harvesting is legal here in Oregon. What that means is that third-party groups can collect ballots once they're sealed and deliver them to the election office. Now, I don't care for ballot harvesting. I understand why people do like it. One of the things is you want the most people to participate as possible, and up until this election, you had to have a stamp to mail it in, or you had to drop it off at the library. And so if you didn't have a stamp, you may not mail it in because you don't want to go to the post office, stand in line, get a stamp, etc. And so if somebody came by your house and said, hey, I'm collecting ballots, I'll drop them all off for you, that's easy for some people. Now, I would never give my ballot to somebody that came to my door. I think that's insane. You know, why would you give your ballot? That's the same thing as like someone comes around to collect your tax return. I'm not giving those to somebody, right? I'm going to drop those off at the post office myself. But that is a practice that is legal. Now, for this election and going forward, Oregon law changed so that it doesn't require a stamp and the postage is paid for by the state. Now, I don't want to be a burden on the state for the 52 cents or whatever it is, so I'm going to just go drop it off. But that makes it much easier for people. They get their ballot, they can take their time, they can look things up, they can fill it out at their leisure, and just drop it off in the mailbox. Now, I would be fine if they did away with ballot harvesting. I am not going to argue for that, because if you can't drop it off in your mailbox, if you just can't go down to the corner and drop it in a mailbox or drop it off at the library, like, I don't care. Like, you have to do something. You have to put in a little bit of effort. Now, I understand, let's say you're old, you're living at a retirement home, or you're living at a assisted living place. Well, you can't necessarily go and get stamps, but now you can mail this for free. Assisted living places do have a place that they can drop their mail off. So you just put your mail in the outgoing mail and it's done. You don't need to have people come by and collect it. So for those critics that are against ballot harvesting, I'm with you. That's cool. Let's do away with ballot harvesting. You're not going to get an argument from me. But here's the major problem that I have with critics of mail-in ballots. They talk about all of the potential fraud, right? They talk about the potential fraud. And, well, let's just go to this article from Real Clear Politics. And this article is an example of the type of arguments that I see all the time about mail-in ballots. It says here, 28 million mail-in ballots went missing in last 4 elections. And you just see that headline, you think, oh my God, 28 million ballots went missing. And then you read it, and they didn't actually go missing. It's just people didn't turn them back in. Big deal. That's insane. To phrase it that way is a lie. It's disingenuous, it's misleading, and anybody that uses this line of questioning is lying to you. And I include Tom Fitton with this, with Judicial Watch. He uses this language, and it is not accurate. Okay? Let's say in Oregon we have 1 million people that are registered voters, and they send out a million ballots, and 800,000 of them are returned. Well, the 200,000 ballots that were not returned aren't missing. They just weren't cast. In the same way, if there were 1 million people that were registered to vote and only 800,000 of them showed up, 200,000 people didn't go missing. They just didn't vote. These ballots are only good for this one election. So if someone chooses not to fill out their ballot and chooses not to return it, it didn't magically go missing. It just didn't get returned. And if you phrase it that way, you're a liar. And that's something you need to be aware of. When you hear these criticisms of vote by mail and they talk about missing ballots, they're not missing, okay? They just weren't returned. People didn't vote. You're allowed not to vote. If I don't want to return my ballot, I don't have to. That's not the law. This ballot didn't go missing if I choose not to turn it in. I just didn't cast a vote. And if you see people using that language, they're trying to trick you. They're lying to you. And I pretty much can't believe anything they say if they're going to lie to me in that gross a fashion. Now, there are some criticisms that one could make with vote by mail, but it's got to be based on reality, okay? Oregon has had vote by mail for over 20 years. If you want to say that, well, it's possible that some people that are not citizens voted in an election. The voter rolls are public. We know every single person that's registered to vote. We've had vote by mail for over 20 years. If you want to criticize vote by mail, come to Oregon and look at the voter rolls and find out, were there any people that were registered to vote that weren't citizens? If you can't find any, you can't make that claim. It's all this potential. Well, potentially this could happen. You've got decades of evidence that you can look at. Show me some evidence. But they don't do that. They talk about potential. Now, the real issue with vote by mail and how they do it here in Oregon is it is very transparent. When these are opened, they are checked to see if the signature matches what's on file. They have representatives from both parties there so that they could challenge and say, oh, that signature's not right, and then they can assess whether it's a valid signature or not. When they are tabulating the results, when they're running it through the machines, when all of this is happening, they have representatives watching it live. None of this is done behind closed doors. None of this is black box. None of this is like all the other elections. Because I guarantee you, you can say that potentially there's some voter fraud in Oregon's vote by mail, although there's no evidence of it. There is a ton of evidence that the votes in this election, there's been all kinds of fraud. Do I trust the results from the California primary? No way. Do I trust the results from the Texas primary? Forget about it. North Carolina? No way. Massachusetts? All kinds of nonsense, all kinds of things that are very shady are happening there, did happen there, and none of that can be explained, right? How is it that the exit polls are so different than the actual results? Well, here in Oregon, where we do have vote by mail, you don't have that issue. So the problem is not vote by mail the way it's done here. The problem is the potential fraud. I trust vote by mail much more than some black box voting or the other voting processes that we have in the rest of the country. And if you're opposed to this, you're probably opposed to, I don't know, fair election results. That's my take on it. I know that I'm in the minority, and I know that so many people, you're used to it. You're used to, it's election day, to go stand in line like a bunch of bums and wait in line and then go in to a little booth and see all this stuff and have to make decisions. And if it comes up, oh, here's a ballot measure, I don't know anything about it, but I guess I just have to choose it because there's nothing else I can do because I'm standing here in this dumb booth. Vote by mail is much better. If there's something I need to look up, I can just look it up on my computer. I can take my time and have an educated vote. Can't do that when you're down in some school gymnasium and then you see one more question that you weren't anticipating. And you just pick one at random or whatever. Vote by mail is superior to standing in line and voting in a school gym. But that's my take on it. I'd like to know your thoughts. I've got to run to turn in this ballot. Have an awesome day. Peace.